Hey guys, how's it going? Jay Sensational here, and today I have another deck guide for you guys. It's been one of the decks that I've been having a lot of success on with Ladder, and has one of the new cards that got buffed with the recent patch. For all of you guys who haven't been aware, the Fiora Shen deck that had Fiora originally is now running towards more of a Shen Jarvin package, and I think that Jarvin in this deck has been proven to be really powerful. So I'm really excited to show you guys what the deck's like, what it's all about, and some of the games that I have for you guys. So without further ado, let's just jump right into things. Alright, so running through the basics of the deck list, you notice that it's very similar to how Fiora Shen looked like before the patch hit. Instead of Fiora, of course, we are running two of Jarvins. You see a lot of very similar decks that we have, and that's because the core of Demacia Ionia has stayed relatively the same. You see your basic cards like 3 of Brightsteel Protectors, 3 of River Shaper, 3 of Screeching Dragons, and all of your combat trick tool arsenals, your denies, your single combats, your sharp sights, your rallies, your concerted strikes, and everything like that. Fundamentally, Fiora Shen and the new Jarvin Shen are pretty much very similar card for card, but they have a slightly different playstyle pattern that we'll get into with the later videos. But of course, again, it is still a very strong mid-range Demacia Ionia deck that just aims to play out their powerful units on curve, get value out of their barriers, and things like that. So what's really cool about Jarvin inside of the existing Ionia Demacia shell is there's some really cool synergy points with some of the cards in the deck. Because you summon out Jarvin at burst speed, and has barrier, this synergizes with your Green Glade Caretaker and your Shen, not only being able to buff your Green Glade Caretaker by 2 attack, but also triggering a proc towards Shen's own level up. And what's really cool about this deck is that because you run a lot of challenger units, you get to, pull away the blockers. If you have a Green Glade Caretaker on board, your Jarvin pulls another blocker, your buffed up Green Glade Caretaker often gets to connect with face. And this can be very powerful. You have the Shen barrier going off that turn, you have the Jarvin barrier going off that turn, and that alone just buffs your Green Glade Caretaker to 5 attack. And if this can connect to face easily, then you're applying a lot of pressure to your opponent. Differently about this deck compared to the traditional Fiora Shen Decklist that you have seen in the past, it runs King Jarvin III as its finisher card over the traditional cards like Cytheria or Brightsteel Protector, or not Protector, sorry, Formation. And it's actually been really surprising how strong this combo can be if you stick Jarvin onto board and then you play King Jarvin on your following attack turn. Just having the Challenger and Scout is very strong combo that, combined with your barrier cards like Shen, if your whole board can stick around, which it can do because you have a lot of spells that protect your units, you have your barriers as well. This can often just represent a very clean kill to your opponent. Now, of course, this does require you to have Jarvin on board, and it's kind of like a win more in those kind of scenarios, because if you already have Jarvin on board, they weren't able to remove it, then you traded unit down and you're winning. But even in cases that you don't, you can still draw back into Jarvin, and it's all still fine and dandy. Now with this deck, we do have additional challengers that really help to level up Jarvin. So in this deck, compared to a standard Fiora Shen list, you are running 2 of Fleet Feather Trackers that you have seen most Fiora Shen deck lists kind of cut in the past. You are also running 3 of Laurent Protégés and 3 Screeching Dragons, just to really hit your consistent challenger units to really pair with Shen. Because once you have Shen on board, you have a challenger on turns 1 or turn 3, and you challenge them with Shen, that's just 1 proc onto your level up for Jarvin. And with this deck in particular, you can actually have a really decent chance of leveling Jarvin up on curve. And when that happens, Jarvin leveled up is actually a super strong card, and it's a really good payoff for a deck like this. I've talked a lot about the similarities between Fiora Shen and Jarvin Shen, and how the decks are fundamentally pretty similar, but what's kind of like the difference between the two decks? Fundamentally, again, they aren't necessarily that different in playstyle. You do want to be floating your mana on turn 2, you want to be playing on curve, you want to hit your 3-drop into Shen, things like that. But the really big difference about playing a card like Jarvin versus only playing a card like Fiora is that when you're attacking and you're going into your turn 6 or whatever turn that you're able to play Jarvin in, Jarvin forces you to commit your mana first. And as a Ionia Demacia deck, that can be very scary, because if you were playing a lot of Fiora Shen earlier, say you're attacking on into your turn 6 with 9 mana up, maybe you want to open attack with all of that 9 mana up so you can play your sharp sights, your single combat, and then still have 4 mana left over to either like deny afterwards or rally. You just can't do that with Jarvin, because once you commit that open attack, you're locking your 6 mana into summoning Jarvin onto play. And if that's on turn 6, you can only have a max of 3 spell mana active, and this limits your plays after combat to single combat and sharp sight, which can be very, very scary, because if you're locked out of 4 mana, you can't play your Riposte, you can't play your Spirit's Refuge, you can't play your Deny. And so if you don't want to summon Jarvin, you have to spend mana, some unit mana, to go under 6 mana. And if you're doing that, not only are you losing your open attack, but you're also committing mana that sometimes you otherwise wouldn't want to have during that turn. So Jarvin kind of creates this weird mana fork for yourself, where sometimes you are kind of trying to commit mana to being more reactive. You want to keep up your deny, you want to keep up your rally, but you just can't with Jarvin in a certain case. Now that's not to understate how strong of a card Jarvin can be. If you're playing like a matchup where, say like against Asol Zoe or Targon Demacia, Jarvin can be very, very powerful, being able to challenge like a Screeching Dragon, be able to go toe-to-toe with like an Eclipse Dragon, for example, and your opponent usually can't really deal with it very, very cleanly, then this can be a very, very strong turn. And Jarvin does that work in a lot of matchups, but say against like a Shadow Owls matchup where they're running cards like Ruination or Vengeance, and you're going into your turn 6 with an attack token, you have to be very, very careful about whether or not you really want to be committing all your mana to Jarvin that turn and losing the option of holding deny mana up. And so very often you have to think about whether or not you want to open attack on, say, turn 6, turn 7, know how much spell mana you have this turn, and just really think about what options you really want to be using your mana on this turn and whether or not those include Jarvin as a whole. Next up, I just want to go over some of the matchup spreads of this deck. I think overall as a deck, it's very similar to what Fiora Shen had before the nerfs, and overall in a meta, I would say that it's probably one of the least polarizing decks out there. You're going to have a lot of matchups that will feel at least slightly favored, and you'll have a lot of matchups that only feel slightly unfavored. So just starting with some of the most popular decks within the ladder right now, I think we have TLC, Targon Demacia, a lot of aggro decks roaming around this meta currently, and you know, you have some miscellaneous decks. I just put Zoe Lee in there for now. Against TLC, very, very similar game plans, very similar strategies. You have a lot of mid-range beef, and you have your rally cards that TLC can't really deal with too easily. Now, I have seen TLC lists that have been upping their Vengeances, upping their Ruinations, and so as they get more heavy single target or board removals, instead of going all in on like boxes, whales, and avalanches, this matchup spread will change slightly. But I think that overall, you're still kind of favored into TLC. You have a very strong mid-range curve. You have rallies to close out the games where TLC can't really be so flexible. And so I think this matchup is at least 55-45 in favor of Shen Jarvin. Next up, we have our Targon Demacia. Talking so hard. Usually it's been Zoe Asol, or you've seen like Dragons with Shyvana Asol, but overall kind of similar mid-range Targon Demacia deck with your standard Demacia removal tools. And here is where I think Ionian paired with Demacia can be slightly stronger. You have access to your cards like Deny, which you can deny like an opponent's Concerted Strike. You have extra barriers like Spirit's Refuge, and you have cards like River Shaper and Shen, which can be very, very powerful in a mid-range Demacia mirror when your barriers are giving yourself a lot more reactivity and they're kind of forced into committing their single combats, their hushes first. And this is kind of what your deck wants to be doing. Targon Demacia probably is also one of the decks that has probably the hardest times dealing with Jarvin. They can't really easily ping your barrier off. They have to use their hushes, their single combats, or concerteds. And this allows you to be a little bit more even on a mana exchange when they have to commit their 5 mana to kill your 6 mana Jarvin, right? So overall, I think this matchup is generally favored for Shen Jarvin. There will be hand states where you don't draw into your late game, and they can kind of roll you over with their Eclipse into ASOL curve type of thing. But overall, I think it's still favored for the Shen Jarvin player, as long as you have your early game, you're able to protect your River Shapers, and you kind of just outvalue your opponent. Next up, we have our aggro piles. There's quite a lot of them roaming around. You have like Pirates, Discard, Nightfall, Spiders, all sorts of weird shenanigans out there. This one's a little bit trickier. Not only are there a lot of decks I'm just grouping into one pile, for example, but they also range a little bit in kind of matchup spreads. I think probably one of the harder matchups will be Discard aggro if you aren't able to draw into some of your healing cards. They kind of hire with their Jinx, they get their Rockets out, things like that. But as the Shen Jarvin deck, you are running a lot more challengers. You have your barrier units, you can favorably trade down the board. You can you can open attack with your Jarvin to challenge like a Jinx, to challenge a Nocturne, and kind of just even out the board. And you do have your Spirit's Refuge. You have your single combats to kind of get double value out of your barriers. If you put on like a Screeching Dragon, challenge it, or block with it, then rally, then again, get to attack twice with your barrier cards. And if you just heal in the mid game, like you have a heal block and then you single combat, often or not, that's enough to stabilize the game and just win it for you. So overall, I would think that there really isn't an aggro deck that Shen Jarvin can't beat, but I think it kind of varies depending on kind of your curve, whether or not you draw into your Spirit's Refuge, and how fast of a start that the aggro opponent has. So very worst 50-50, very best probably around 60s, 40s type of range. And last but not least, we have the Zoe Lee, which is probably one of the harder decks to evaluate because I think both decks are kind of hard to play, especially if you're playing them against each other. But I think that the matchup is probably leaning closer to 50-50. It can lean either ways depending on the skill level of player, etc. But I think that you're able to force the Zoe Lee player into awkward situations where you're like threatening Jarvin to come down onto Lee Sin. You have your single combats. You can pop their barriers by having your own challenging units, then you rally again and they can't re-barrier their Lee Sin. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. But of course, if the Zoe Lee player has the turn 1 Zoe, they silence like your River Shaper, they Crescent Strike your challengers on an important turn, they deny your rally, then it can swing a lot of ways as well, right? So I would put this at a 50-50, goes either way, but difficult to pilot from both sides. And then finally, I do have 3 really cool games that I want to show for you guys. Kind of just shows kind of the playstyle of the deck. Maybe you'll see that it's quite similar to Fiora Shen in a way, but also showing highlighting how strong Jarvin can be in this kind of list. When it can level up on board on curve, or come out after it's leveled, or you have Shen leveled and it's like a 10-3 challenger. And so there's a lot of really cool things I can see with this deck that are actually quite different than how Fiora Shen used to play. So I have 3 games, one against Nightfall Aggro, one against Shurima Jarvin, and one against Dragons that I hope you guys will really enjoy watching. If you guys enjoy this content, please drop a like and a subscribe. It really means a lot to me and motivates me to continue. But without further ado, I'll leave you guys with some games, and I hope you guys enjoy. Nightfall. We should be able to beat Nightfall. Missed the 3-3 Fiora. Yeah, Fiora is like... It's actually insane how impacted Fiora got. Like, at first I was a little skeptical, and I still think Fiora's not a bad card, but there's just like spots that you just notice it, that it's just like so obvious. This card's good. I have to play this for health. And this didn't fit my curve either. I could play it on 5 and that would have been really good, but beyond that, this is fine. Diana? No, Diana is good. You can still have Diana. Okay. So I just challenge his elusives later. I block that at least. This is fine. He's not pushing a lot of damage, but he is like... He's almost leveling Nocturne, which is insane. Well, that's only 2, I guess. I don't know about this full attack, unless he's exactly on Mark of the Isles, which this deck doesn't run. So now I play Shen and I get challenged to 2-1 for free. Like, I'm feeling really confident here. Unless he actually has the buff to kill this. I do like 1 Yone, depending on the deck. Like if I'm playing Targon, I actually quite like 1 Yone and like 1 Mind Splitter. It's like a really good fork. The point of stuns is you need forks. You need fast speed development punish, and you need development punish, and you need fast speed punish. Like that's what stuns are for. It's very much so like a yeah, Yasuo Swain, it's like too bad. It's too slow. But in general, that's fine. I have the Concerted here. I can also just, once he develops, I just Golden Aegis, right? Like, he can't attack if I do this. How does he attack? Alternatively, I can just Concerted Strike this turn, depending on what he does. We'll give it one more action. See what he does. Fights. So if he has Unspeakable Horror, which most lists should be cutting, the issue is I'm not rallying with like River Shaper. He's using his attack. I don't like this attack. I think he's gonna. I think he knows that I'm gonna attack, and he shouldn't be attacking like this. Because he wants to attack realistically with his Crescent Guardian, right? And the only way he's gonna attack with his Crescent Guardian is if I attack with Shen. But then he has to block Shen with like one of these guys, and that's gonna feel really bad for him. And then at that point, I'm just gonna trade down Shen, and it's gonna feel extra bad for him. But if he doesn't attack now, he loses his flight potentially. This is why like Golden Raid, yeah, see he has the pass here. How insane is that? Honestly. Like I actually take this pass now because Jarvin's gonna challenge the 5-3. Like how insane is that? He loses the card draw, he loses the attack, he loses everything here. True Monarch, what's up? Which one do we care more about? Probably the elusive damage. We just need to make sure we don't die.
Fight for your king. The balance has been maintained.
This has been a really cool stream. Like the games so far have been like great. I'm really liking it so far. And now we have Sharp Sight to block elusives. We have Concerted to kill big stuff. He's very far away from like Doom Beast lethaling me. That was off of stalking. So if I draw like a... Was that not off of stalking? Either way, like he's as long as I don't let any more damage through, like I don't know how he wins. This single combat's insane. This is insane too.
We swim within the flows of magic.
I'm letting 2 damage through, I guess. A little unfortunate. Oh, that's a lot more than 2. Okay, I'm letting a little bit of damage in, but now he doesn't have any more Doom Beasts.
Whatever the cost.
Ideally, I would like to single here, but like that's just too greedy. Because we're giving this barrier to kill this, we can kill the flight instead. Okay. And now we draw like a Spirit's Refuge and we just win the game.
A gift from the river folk.
So now I can Spirit's Refuge and Concerted Strike. Like he can't kill us anymore. We will give the barrier dude. J4 gets the swing. This kills that. This gets the attack. Challenge here, challenge here. Phenomenal Flight goes back to the deck, yeah. It strikes first. It's on strike, like shuffle back in the deck type of stuff. We actually need to So we're gonna refuge here.
My
And
father's blade.
he can't play a unit, otherwise we just like single concerted. Oh yeah, he's done for now. Yeah.
We fight till we're ragged, then we fight again!
I don't even. It's strange because is flight worded as Nexus Strike? Like for so long, I don't actually recall. Oh, it is Nexus Strike. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Easy game. I'm in the JB Discord. Yes, you have seen me there. I'm the one who like. If you see Majin say something and then you see someone else say something funny, that's me. What is he playing? Suck my sock. I'm attacking on odds. River Shaper's kind of awkward here. Do I make all of the memes for the memes RuneTerra account? Any meme you see posted by memes RuneTerra and not by somebody else tagging memes RuneTerra, I make myself. How's Shen Jarvin treating you? It's really good. I really like the deck. It's basically Fiora Shen. And Fiora Shen as an archetype, although Fiora got nerfed, Fiora Shen practically isn't any weaker. I did swap out one Jarvin for one Fiora. I just felt like having an extra 3-drop challenger is really important with Shen, and 3 Jarvin is actually kind of weird. Oh, yo, yeah. Gotcha. We can play Protege and challenge the 2-2.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
Interesting. Hold up 5 mana. I'm happy with this pass. I maybe would have liked to do that, but like him having like a riposte or something would just make it really awkward. So this is Renekton. Gallant. Well, this turns into a 5/5. And then I have to do more than just riposte. That's a little bit awkward. Like I could riposte Sharpsight, but then if he Sharpsights of his own, I don't kill it. I'm gonna bait him into attacking the Fiora instead. Ah, unlucky. Oh, yes, let's go. Like this is where Fiora is better than this. Oh fuck, he's too smart. Damn it, he's so smart. Oh, that sucks. I was gonna say the 3 attack actually matters a lot over the 2 attack, right? Because I can't just riposte this in here. It's a little bit awkward. And I can't like block here. This is where the Fiora nerf really sucks. I don't know if it's silly. Like he sees this as a win condition threat, right? It's not like silly by any natural means. If I riposte here, it just bounces off each other. Is that what I want? Probably too important to save this. So like if he singles here, these trade. If he singles here, that's fine. Okay. And now I'll just trade off Fiora. I really want to get this River Shaper down. Maybe that's okay, but this has Challenger. Like I need to kill this, right? I feel like if I play this and he concerted strikes me, am I sad? I'm actually really sad if he does. This is kind of tough. His deck's actually pretty cool. Giving Challenger to like any of these is really sick. You can also be running like Quicksand. Wow, Quicksand's really cool in this deck too. Like, interesting. Sharpsight, right? So I just need to be worried about Sharpsight. I do want to kill this. But I do want to kill this as well. So if he Sharpsights here, I have to Sharpsight back. I have riposte for this. I'm at pretty decent health. I'm not convinced I like this play, but I was kind of forced into that. He could have J4 come down, and that'd be really sad. So no J4 is good for me. I could see like an exhaust onto the River Shaper. And then I'd have a hard time, especially if he challenges the Rune Runner. He might be slow rolling your Nectin. Yeah. I mean, I'm the one who has to like play reactively here. What elite could he have? Jarvin? What other elites do they even play? It's just Jarvin, right? Or something else? Oh, and the Gallant Rider.
For the prince.
So there's our Nectin. Yup. So I have Riposte and Sharpsight. So Riposte kills our Nectin, and then Sharpsight kills the Rune Runner. And then when he Sharpsights again, I have... Oh, smart pass. Very smart pass. But in that specific case, I couldn't play this. I feel like I couldn't have played it. Oh, J3 as well? Yeah, that's possible. All those are good possibilities. Now I feel like I have to pass back. I just don't have enough options. The awkward part is his Renekton. Ooh, that's a good card. Okay. Ooh, what is that? So I have Riposte, I mean, I just pass again, right? I'm not taking lethal damage. I probably want to deny his Aegis when he plays it. And I just want to kill his units, right? Oh god, this game's so weird. Demacia mirrors are always so strange. Yep. Yep. So I riposte here, and I double Sharpsight these guys. Or something like that. So I riposte here, and I Sharpsight here.
Currents pull them down.
I can't really Sharpsight here again, because otherwise I just lose my deny mana. And that's a little bit too important. Yeah, so he's gonna Aegis here, right? And then I'm gonna deny. I'm still like in a bad spot, relatively speaking. Okay. So there's no Aegis. If he single combats here, I have Sharpsight. Single combats here, I also have Sharpsight. Okay. Now I open Barrier here. Oh, that's such a good card, dude.
My shield is yours.
Wow, Preservarium. Alright, that changes a lot. Well, I mean, Preservarium's good. Oh, wow. Really? Alright, play something and then I rally. You can have Rite of Negation. Ugh. I don't want to rally this board. There's nothing I want to pick off.
Our ancestors are watching.
I wish that River Shaper was still alive right now. But now once he like Rite of Negations, I just deny it. Could Golden Dew could Golden Dew... Does this still get rid of his mana crystal if I deny it? No. Could Golden Dew could... Oh god. I'm having a stroke trying to read that, I'm sorry. Oh, wrong pull. We don't need to trade this down. Oh, do you have rally is the question. Oh, do they have rally? I have this deny, so it's fine. Oh, that's a card. And it's leveled? Oh, Jarvin leveled is insane. If he does have Jarvin of his own, like, I'm in a really good spot here.
I have been sent by the king himself.
So there's no Jarvin on his side. I have the refuge. I feel really good right now. I also had 2 beers. Alright, fair. I just play this now, actually. He can't rally. Like, I just need this to get me Cataclysms. And it's a barrier for blocker. So he's gonna, like, do something here. And, I mean, giving this vulnerable, it doesn't really matter. That's fine. So, see if he has exhaust. So he does not. Alright, so I just bury here and I win the game. If he has nothing else, I just win. If he has exhaust, then like I almost don't win. It's a little scary if he has exhaust. That Shen emote was a little yeah, the exhaust, alright. I mean, this is only 5 damage. How much do I care? Oh, interesting. Alright, so there's no. Oh, that's so funny. Because this had vulnerable and honored lords. This guy's such a cool deck, honestly. Like his deck is sweet. Like I really like this. We'll save Cataclysm. We draw like J4, J3 right now. Never lucky.
I've got your back.
Like his deck is cohesive. Like the vulnerable, the challenger, and the honored lords. With the Preservarium draw. Farm them with Yasuo Slain. Yeah, just a little bit. We have the Cataclysm, right? How much do we care? If he sharp sights, we sharp sight back. We actually need this J4 to survive. He can't really play anything because we have Cataclysm of our own.
I will run you over.
Yeah. Yasuo Slain's pretty sweet as a deck overall. I mean, Yasuo as a whole, you know, Yasuo's...
My duty's done.
Yasuo's about this sweet. Oh damn, that spell shield's really annoying. I mean, I just do this to... Wait, this doesn't actually get rid of... Oh, I see. Oh my god. If you guys forgot how this interaction works, by the way. Like, this pops spell shield, but it still puts a unit in combat, which is absolutely hilarious. I just do this pop spell shield. And like, if he has Riposte, I might lose, which is hilarious. For that reason, maybe I should have challenged the Rockhopper. Aw, unlucky dude. Doina, what's up, man? Let's go. You guys have joined in for some absolutely insane games so far. Like, this is the most fun I've had on RuneTerra in quite a while. I don't actually know how good this matchup is. Talia's was decent. I liked all of them. I really like Lissandra. Lissandra's one of my favorites. Kerr's a little awkward. Denai's a little awkward as well. Best one is Teemo. Alright, you got it. There's no one drop he's like holding back to punish me. Is the one Fiora putting in work? I don't know. I've just put it in. In my head, it's better than 3 Jarvin. But I have yet to have any significant testing with it. Alright, so we just sharp sight or something. So we sharp sight, he sharp sights. The issue is if we play like refuge and he hushes, then like we're kind of in a weird spot. We need this to survive, so we have a unit to like hit Shen with. Like we'll double like sharp sight this if we need to. Like he's gonna sharp sight and then we're gonna sharp sight back. Yep. This could be wrong, but it's only wrong if he has second sharp sight as well, which then I just lose. I actually lose if he has second sharp sight. I guess he have Pale here. Oh, thank god. Okay. So now we play Shen and we have a unit to support with. And if he plays like Shyvana, then like we know he can't like kill our Shen. Well, it's also 3-4, so he can't like Pale it. We know he doesn't have sharp sight, otherwise he would have used it last turn.
Face me.
But he's just gonna get his damage in here, which is respectable. Although 3 for Shyvana is like a really awkward number. Our hand is bricked out though. Like we're both I'm reliant on top decks here. It's not quite it. Like we have to go for a really aggressive game plan here, like just try to win off of some Stand United bullshit.
I am watching you, dragon.
It is good. He can't really attack into me because I have riposte. If he wants to trade dragon for a 5-1, I'm ecstatic. I don't know what's going on here. Why is he attacking with Shyvana? And why on the... Yeah, this is great, because we know you can't beat a riposte. The worst case scenario is he singles here, and I don't get Valley out of my riposte. Down. Can I kill him? No, I can't. That's a card.
I will show you no mercy, Sephiroth.
He could have single here. If he has single, how do I win? I just pray that he doesn't. I mean, you wouldn't play Demacia Targan without this deck card. Like, you need this card in this deck. So he has single. He might single here. So annoying. I needed this dragon, but the circumstances are just a little bit awkward. I couldn't let him like value trade Shen either, could I? Oh, that's so good. Yeah, who cares? He can't attack. But if I don't attack, will he pass? Can I... how... will he get baited into, like, attacking? No, it's just... it's too stupid. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Fangs is better, same mana cost, but can... I mean, Fangs, like, is a 3-2, and Sunforger is a 5-4. And when you run single combat and, like, Concerted Strike, that damage... Oh my god. Holy fuck!
Words make a ruler, but actions make history.
They are under my protection.
Alright, watch this synergy. Shen levels on the support, and then Jarvin gets the buff. Wait, what? Oh, the other way around? Ah, fuck. Alright, never mind. I'm Pete Brain. Okay, so he's gonna single my Shen, and then I'm gonna refuge. Or that, nothing happens. Okay, so Jarvin's 3. Fuck, I really wanted to kill this, but I don't think he can play Aesol here. He doesn't even have Aesol or not. I forgot how this interaction worked. I really hoped it was the other way around. But his hand's dead, so my hand's undeniably better than his. So he wants to challenge my Shen.
You're covered.
Duty, selfless.
And then we still have Refuge and Stand United. Everybody. Oh, that's a cool synergy. So he gets a Strafing Strike here, which is kind of awkward. How awkward is it actually, though? We don't care about our health. Like, he can't kill us. He's Demacia. He's gonna force him to use Strafing Strike awkwardly. And then I have Deny Spirit's Refuge. He's gonna Strafing Strike my Jarvin. With his Eclipse. Or his Shyvana. It's a mistake to do with Shyvana. I can't really care about that. But it is my only challenger. I'd rather deny like a concerted if he has one. And then I get a challenge freely and just win the board. Pale? What does that do? Should I just go for the kill? No. I get punished by a hush. Not sure what the pale was for though. Rebone, I'll see you, dude. Take care, man. Have fun. Thanks for coming on the stream. I mean, I could have. He could have had hush though. And like, there's no way I'm losing this game as long as I was patient. Like, Stand United here is so much better, right? Like, he has to not die. He has to maybe protect his Shyvana. He has the Judgment. If we just play Stand United, can we just kill him, like, through a Judgment? Like, we just Stand United these guys, right? That's so funny. Oh, it's one off? Alright. It was a little too funny there. Like, if he has something now he's Stand United. I mean, I could, but like, he could have Hush, right? But now I do it. Does this order matter? So I want J4 to attack after this happens, because J4 is gonna level here. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, now J4 is gonna attack for one more. And worst case scenario, he has like a single and Sharp Sight beats it. Yo, thanks for the follow, man. Have a good time. Alright, that's the Shen emote now. And then J4 is gonna level here. And then deal one extra damage that we didn't need. Would whapping Fiora from the right deal increase damage? I mean, sure, maybe, but like, I didn't need to. There's no point not killing this. Like, I guess I still kill it, but there's no out for him there. Damn, dude, we've been like popping right now. Alright, top 50.